And the simple version is that there's minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and yes, even years of boredom punctuated by terror. That you didn't give up, you didn't give in, and you strived to return with honor. Essentially on the 20th of September, I took my last mission. We took some severe hits in the airplane, and the airplane momentarily stalled, and next thing you know, we were laying on the ground 90 feet below. We could see the Vietnamese passing by, and of course we were looking through the vines, so we were hoping they didn't see us. And finally, they all stopped, and I can remember the words of my pilot. He said, "Time to live, to fight another day." We were heavily out-armed because basically all we had was a six-shooter, and we were looking at everything from machetes to machine guns and numbers that were overwhelming. And from that point on, then we became prisoners of war. First experience that set the tone was when I was lined up in front of a firing squad, and I can remember counting my breaths and see how many I could get in before the end was there, and I was just 22 years old. I think when the stand down came and they didn't execute me, I came to the belief at that point that I was going to make it. I didn't know how difficult the road was going to be, but I knew I was going to make it. We experienced isolation, food deprival. We ate basically rice and occasional French bread, but our mainstay was rice. The vegetables were what most of us call greens. They were grass for a good name for them. In fact, we sometimes named them according to their taste, and we had sewer weed and things like that. So it wasn't the most tasty in the world, but it kept us alive. Our outside time was, in the first 5 years, was non-existent. And there was no such thing as warm water, and there was no such thing as the modern conveniences that we all become familiar with. Fortunately, they started to build on a little shower, and then we were able to not only communicate through the wall, through the tap code, we could end up actually leaving notes in the shower. You realize that you're not in the boat alone, and then you decide that when you go home, you want everybody to go. The Vietnamese didn't understand why we stood so strongly. And, they fought to destroy that will to move on, and they could not. As time went on, I lived on what I referred to as faith, and they were four. One was faith in myself. Two was faith in those around me. Three was faith in my country. And four is faith in my God. I'm humbled by the quote, the word hero, when I think there's so many others who were more deserving, and I, like so many others, was just doing the task, doing the job that we were assigned to do, and trying to do it to the best of our ability. And that they thought that my story was worthy of recognition, and having been part of the Heritage Hall for a number of years, it's just a great honor to not only represent myself, but to represent the enlisted corps that was a part of what was going on, and to know that others saw something a little different than what you really were doing besides just doing your job.